Well, it's our broadcast partner who's out on the mats right now, Eric. Last year's commentator for the World Championships. He joined me in Budapest. There he is, Arsen JULFALAKYAN of Armenia. His opponent will be Daniel Alexandrov of Bulgaria. Daniel Alexandrov, Bulgaria in the green. JULFALAKYAN of Armenia coming out in the red, ready to go at bronze medal 77. Arsen, might I add, did a terrific job helping out with the broadcast last year. I think he enjoyed himself too, but he kept telling me, you won't see me up here for a while. I'm going to be back down there on the mats.
Yeah, and I actually had an opportunity to touch base with JULFALAKYAN this morning regarding some news that he has become a member of the Armenian parliament. So now, as of January, he's the Armenian deputy of the Armenian parliament. So he's a parliament member, and it's not so very common to see an active athlete at the same time as a politician. So he said, after a 3-year break, I decided to come back to the European Championships. And though I wanted to be wrestling for gold, this is a start to where I want to be, and that's at the top of the podium in Tokyo.
He's been atop the podium on a number of different events throughout his years of wrestling, and what an ambassador for the sport he is. Not just for the country, but for the sport of Greco-Roman wrestling. JULFALAKYAN, a two-time Olympian, a 2012 Olympic silver medalist. He was a world champion back in 2014. He has just one of those personalities that if you're not a fan of the sport, if you're a fan of the sport, he treats you the same, and it's just an endearing, really authentic type of personality when you chat one-on-one with that guy right there. The love he has for his country and the love he has for this sport. JULFALAKYAN with a 1-0 lead and a chance to go parterre in this European Championship.
He's the son, and him and his father have a unique tie. They've both reached the Olympic finals. His father, Levan JULFALAKYAN, former member of the Soviet Union Greco-Roman squad, honored as the Minister of Sport of the Soviet Union in '88. But how exciting would it be to share a tie with your father to be an Olympic medalist?
Not too many get that distinction and honor, that's for sure. JULFALAKYAN with a 3-0 lead, approaching the 2-minute mark of this first period. Wrestling Alexandrov of Bulgaria, who's wrestling down away from 82. That's where he competed in Budapest. He's finished as high as 5th in the World Championships in previous years, and he too has been an Olympic Games wrestler for Bulgaria, placing 11th in the Rio Games in 2016.
And at dinner last night, we had dinner with a Bulgarian fan, and he was saying extremely emotional wrestler is Alexandrov. And looking back to his semifinals match where he lost by a score of 10-2, I'm not sure who he was yelling at, but it was above our left shoulder, and it looked to be at one of the referees in the stand. So I'm not sure what that was about, but he was extremely emotional after one of those losses. So a key here is going to be controlling his emotions.
Yeah, he's always one of those guys, kind of lives on the edge with those emotions, and sometimes it helps you out, sometimes it can hinder you a little bit. First period, and JULFALAKYAN with a 3-0 lead for Armenia. Can't wait to talk to Arsen about that young freestyle wrestler we saw earlier in the week. Get Arsen's thoughts on him as he passes the torch on the freestyle side. There's a good look at Alexandrov, a multiple world championship performer through the years for Bulgaria, so there's not much that he has not seen, even when he's matched up against a poised and seasoned and proven veteran like JULFALAKYAN. Here we go, period number 2. Expect a lot from Alexandrov. JULFALAKYAN with a brief 2-on-1. Bulgaria really trying to pick up the tempo and get a passive call on the Armenian. He is really working hard. And as a result, JULFALAKYAN has been warned. Nice job. I like what Aleksandrov's doing in this situation. Had a game plan after the timeout, after the period break, and he is close to going on top in parterre. Very close. I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't happen in a few seconds before we hear that whistle. JULFALAKYAN trying to come back with his own. Sets up a collar tie, a wrist tie for a moment.
Such a tiring pace that Aleksandrov is wrestling right now. Let's see how long he can keep this up. That's what he asked for.
So he gets the point. Took exactly 1 minute for it to happen. He's hunched over. He had to really work his tail off to get that passivity call, and now he goes into position. Big moment for JULFALAKYAN underneath. First time he's been on the downside of the parterre, and a little bit too quick from Daniel Aleksandrov. That time he timed it a lot better. JULFALAKYAN squirming around underneath, crawling into the center. And nothing for Aleksandrov to reach onto, and JULFALAKYAN does a terrific job. He fins it off and onto their feet with 1:41 to go.
And look back, you talked about our time spent at the World Championships with JULFALAKYAN, and he taught me so much about the sport. You have an opportunity to pick the brains of some of these greats. And I just remember speaking to him about the process leading up to a tournament. And he said, in Armenia, our training camps are so hard. They usually last 13 days. And the thing about our training camps is they set us up for success when you get to the World Championships or any tournament at that. He said, you're supposed to live on the edge on those training camps. And when you get here, the tournament should be easy because you put so much work in. And just speaking with him over a couple of meals, it completely changed the way I looked at the sport. And leading up to it, I think about what these guys go through leading up to these tournaments now, and I never looked at it from that standpoint.
Red contact.
But yeah, he said, you know, some guys expect the training camps to be easy. They're not supposed to be easy.
Training camps for a reason. Arm spin attempt. Comes up with air for Aleksandrov. A slip, 3-1. JULFALAKYAN on top for Armenia. Inside 30 seconds to go, final period. Could it be another bronze medal, another medal added to just an enormous list of accomplishments throughout Arsen's career? Aleksandrov is a tough guy to keep off the board, and JULFALAKYAN has been able to do it. Down to 5, down to 3. You're going to see a big smile, one of the biggest smiles the sport has to offer in just a moment. He wanted gold, but he'll take bronze. Breathe a little air. He had to work. Aleksandrov kept coming at him, but Arsen JULFALAKYAN a bronze medal as he takes care of Daniel Aleksandrov. 3-1 your final. Both wrestlers really exhausted. We'll get that smile, trust me, once he gets some air. Arsen nods, he gets the win. 5-1, tacked on a late 2.